John O, you got to unmute. What's up, man?
Yo, I was just wondering about your objection to Islam, because you say the Trinity is one, and the Father, Son, and Holy Ghost share one essence, and so you need to worship all three of them. But if they have one essence, and you just worship the essence, call it God, what's the problem with that? Aren't they all happy since they share? I mean, just logically, I think.
Well, essence is not a thing that's some other thing from the persons. The essence exists in the persons who have it. So
yeah, I'm saying instead of addressing Jesus like the man, because you don't know what Jesus looked like. You literally, his name's not even Jesus, it's Yeshua. So even saying the name Jesus is wrong, and then you're thinking of someone. That's not true.
It's just an English transliteration of the Hebrew word Yeshua.
The point is, if you have a crucifix and you have a man on it, that's not the historical Jesus. So
sure it is. Why is it not? What do you mean?
Because you don't know what he looked like.
Well, in the Orthodox Church, we do know what he looked like. We have icons that tell us what he looked like.
But aren't most of the oldest images of him like a black dude or something?
No, that's total baloney and idiocy. So where did you even? You don't know that paint gets old over time? That doesn't make Jesus a black dude.
Yeah, but you don't know what he looked like. You're just conjecturing. So
well, first of all, I know that he was a Hebrew person and not a black dude.
I mean, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't matter, but you don't.
It does matter because he has to fulfill the Hebrew prophecies.
Okay, but you don't have an actual picture of him, so any crucifix presentation.
So you're just blowing everything I say to you. You're just ignoring it. So it's proven that he's not a black dude if he's Hebrew.
No, I'm not saying he's black. I'm just saying.
You just said he could have been a black dude.
Okay, you don't have a HD video of him, so whatever images.
I just told you that in the Orthodox Church, our tradition tells us that he looks like he looks in the icons.
Okay, but it's not a perfect representation. You'll never have a perfect representation.
First of all, that's just your assumption. But what does this have to do with Islam?
Well, I'm just saying, if you're not sure what he actually looked like, then anything you're worshiping on the crucifix.
No, you're saying that we're not sure. We believe by tradition we do know what he looked like.
Okay, yeah, well, I'm sure. Okay, leave that point. All right, everyone else understands what I'm saying, but yeah.
No, everybody thinks that what you're saying is silly. So I don't know where you think.
That's like saying if I don't have a picture of my parents, I don't know what they look like.
You've seen your parents. You haven't seen Jesus. That's the point.
People in the Orthodox Church have seen Jesus. That's the whole point. And for example, if a detective or a police officer was taking a report of somebody that they saw, and it all matches, right? And they didn't declare, I think you can come to a pretty good conclusion that that's what the individual looked like. And that's exactly what we have.
If you got everyone who's had a vision of Jesus and you got them to do a drawing of him.
You're dealing with people in the Orthodox Church. So you're not talking to everybody in the world who claims to be Protestant. We're Orthodox here. And Orthodox icons have a unified approach to what Jesus looks like.
Okay, but you're skipping the point. Like, the people who've had visions of him, have you had them do a depiction of that vision, and do they all match up? No, they don't. So why worship?
Well, you're saying no, they don't. You just keep asserting things without any actual evidence or proof, assuming that we would accept everybody's claim. We're talking about within the Orthodox Church, and yes, everybody within the Orthodox Church reports that Christ looks like Christ.
Perfectly matching.
That's across different geographical locations.
By the way, even if I didn't have an iconic representation, I have what's recounted in the Old Testament and the Gospels and the New Testament. So that tells me that he was crucified. So what does that have to do with your argument about him not?
The face of the person who you're worshiping is not his face from the history.
How do you know that? How do you know that? You're asserting that. What's your proof of that?
Because you don't have a HD video, and I just said...
Okay, so the only way to know something is have HD video. Do Muslims have an HD video of the Quran?
What?
Do the Muslims have an HD video of the recitation of the Quran?
They have hundreds of people who memorized it. I'm not a scholar.
That has nothing to do with whether it's true. So, but you just said it requires there's no HD video. So your own argument for Islam falls.
No, because no one memorized his face and gave a detailed description of it for you to make.
You don't think words are images?
So did they describe every feature of his face? No, they probably said a skin tone.
You said that they need. You said there's no HD video.
Yeah, so you don't.
Okay, so is there HD video of the recitation of and the describing of the original Quran?
Well, yeah, there's hundreds of people attesting to
that. So hundreds of people is HD video in your stupid argument.
Okay, well, you're going to pretend it's stupid, but that's
no, it is stupid because you have an arbitrary double standard.
Okay, fine.
And by the way, why would you assume that HD video is the way to know what something looked like? Don't you think words are images?
Is there a detailed description of him in audio form somewhere?
The words of the Quran, are they images?
They're concepts.
Words are concepts? Words stand for concepts. Yeah. Words are not concepts.
I mean, words represent images of things you've seen, but they're not.
Oh, wait a minute. Well, hold on. So, does the Quran describe Allah?
I mean, it describes his attributes.
Oh, okay. So are there images of Allah then?
No, there's concepts of Allah.
You said words are images.
No, I said words are concepts.
You said images. You used the word images.
Yeah, because we...
Yes, so now you're going back and saying... So what did you say, images or not?
You're trying to muddy the waters so everyone can hear what I'm saying, so whatever.
Well, you're contradicting yourself because your position's silly.
I mean, that's fine. I'm not a genius. I'm just asking a logical question.
It's not logical. It's a retarded question because you just contradicted yourself.
That's fine.
Did you contradict yourself?
No, I did not.
You said that the words of the Quran are images, and I said, does it depict Allah? So it has images of Allah.
No, I said they represent concepts.
Are concepts created or are they uncreated?
Concepts created. Concepts are gathered by information gathering in the world.
Okay, and are they created or uncreated? The concepts in your head are obviously created, right?
By Allah, yeah. I mean,
so the concepts in your head are created by Allah. So, okay. So are they images of Allah?
They are representations.
Which is an image. An image is a representation. So now you're an idolater.
No, they describe him, and at the end of the day, we only
right. Well, you said images, and then you walked it back, and then you said representations, as if that's not the same thing as an image, and now you're saying they describe him. So you're trying to avoid using the very thing that I pinned you with.
So you're saying, are they images of Allah? Well, we relate to Allah through images.
Oh, so you can have mental images of Allah. So now you're an idolater in your mind.
No, because there's a generalizable concept which doesn't have a specific form, which you can say.
Oh, okay. So then, how do you know the difference? How do you know the difference between the attributes if they don't have any conceptual forms?
What?
How do you know the difference between the attributes then if they have no perceptible difference in form?
They don't have an actual solid form, but they...
Okay, then how do you know the difference between them? What's the difference between them?
Because there are things that are... Have you heard of abstractions? You know what the meaning of
Yes, I know what an abstraction is.
What is an instantiation? Okay.
I know what an abstraction... Okay, so there's an abstraction in your mind. It's still a creature, right?
No.
So you have uncreated things in your mind? Your mind is uncreated?
No, I mean...
So now you're contradicting again. So are there concepts created or uncreated?
I believe the mind is in the non-terminal domain or in the mental or platonic sphere. So
is it created or not? So now you're a Platonist, and so the mind is uncreated. So now you're another idolater.
No, the concepts are created by Allah. He is the I am. He is the consciousness at the beginning of the universe that created all concepts. Yes.
Oh, so now you're a Neoplatonist.
I mean, that's the way I understand it, but.
So Allah creates the eternal concepts. Are they the same thing in your mind?
No, because they have different manifestations.
Ah, okay. So how do you know the created thing in your mind matches up to the uncreated thing?
Because you can recognize the same patterns. That's called pattern recognition.
Okay, so that's the circle. So because it's the case, because you see it. But Allah is nothing like creatures, right?
Allah is nothing like creatures. I mean, no.
Well, there's two places in the Quran that say that he's nothing like creatures.
Yeah, because he's the creator of concepts. We haven't created any concepts. You just see things and you join things together and you call it.
Okay, so that again, missing the whole point. So there's a likeness between Allah, but there's not. Which one is it?
I mean, Allah is not the concept. He's the creator of concepts.
I understand that, but that's not telling me or answering the question, which is, what's the relationship between the created concept in your head and the uncreated?
So the uncreated was there at the beginning, and he formed the concept.
You don't understand the objection? Is there a similarity between the created and the uncreated or not?
I don't even know what you're asking. Can I
You know exactly what I'm asking because you keep contradicting yourself. Because if you say there's an analogy or a comparison, you're committing shirk because you're likening Allah to creatures. But if you say there's no reality or no comparison, then you don't know what you're talking about, and you're just saying words that have nothing, they don't relate to anything.
I said Allah is the consciousness at the beginning.
You're just saying that, but you're not addressing the objection. Do you understand the objection?
If you're saying, is there comparison between Allah and creation, it literally says that Allah breathed His Spirit into Adam.
Yeah, but that just shows that your Quran contradicts, because in 42 and 110 it says Allah is nothing like creatures. So now you have a stupid contradicted religion. And you're making fun of me about not knowing what Jesus looks like?
Well, no, it's not contradictory, because at the end of the day, we can't create anything. Allah can. So
that isn't even come close to answering the objection.
We don't live forever.
So you think answering the objection is by just stating other doctrines in Islam?
So the objection is that there's no comparison between us and Allah?
That's what the Quran says, correct, or not?
Because we don't live forever. So
what does that have to do with living forever? That's not. We're asking questions about analogies and language, predication.
Because Allah lives forever and Allah creates
concepts. Okay, so you literally can't answer this objection. Amazing.
I'm not. I mean, I can't.
Just literally, just. This is the idiocy of Islam.